Christian nationalism is a complex and often controversial topic in contemporary discourse. It is a term that carries significant historical weight and frequently sparks heated debate across various sectors of society. Our exploration today will delve into its origins, examine its core tenets, and critically analyze what some refer to as its potential dark side. The ideas underpinning Christian nationalism have evolved over centuries, deeply rooted in both American and European history. Its conceptual framework predates the formal coining of the term itself. These historical precedents laid foundational beliefs that would later coalesce into the modern understanding of Christian nationalism. One significant historical precedent is the concept of America as God's new Israel. This belief posited that the United States held a unique divine destiny, chosen by God for a special purpose. Early American settlers and leaders often invoked this idea, seeing their new nation as a promised land. It fostered a sense of exceptionalism and divine favor for the nascent republic. Building upon this, the 19th century saw the rise of manifest destiny. This belief asserted that the United States was divinely ordained to expand its dominion across the North American continent. It intertwined religious justification with territorial expansion, framing westward movement as God's will. This ideology often overlooked or actively suppressed the rights and existence of indigenous populations. The modern articulation of Christian nationalism gained significant momentum with the rise of the religious right in the 1970s and 1980s. This movement emerged as a powerful reaction to profound cultural shifts occurring in American society. These shifts included the sexual revolution, the civil rights movement, and landmark legal decisions like Roe v. Wade. Prominent figures such as Jerry Falwell and Pat Robertson became leading voices of this burgeoning movement. They articulated a clear argument. America was fundamentally a Christian nation that had strayed from its divine path. They believed it urgently needed political reclamation to restore its perceived Christian foundations. This period saw a powerful fusion of evangelical identity with conservative political objectives. Religious leaders mobilized their congregations, urging them to engage politically to defend what they saw as traditional Christian values. This alliance created a formidable force in American politics, shaping policy and public discourse. The term Christian nationalism itself began to emerge in academic use during the late 1990s and early 2000s. Scholars sought a framework to analyze this distinct cultural and political phenomenon. They recognized it as more than just religious conservatism or patriotism. Academics defined Christian nationalism as a collection of myths, traditions, symbols, and narratives. These elements collectively articulate a vision of the United States as a nation founded on and uniquely blessed by Christian principles. This academic definition provided a lens through which to understand its pervasive influence. It is crucial to understand that Christian nationalism is not merely about being a Christian or being patriotic. Many devout Christians are deeply patriotic without adhering to Christian nationalist ideologies. The distinction lies in a specific and powerful fusion. The key characteristic of Christian nationalism is the explicit fusion of Christian and American identity. It posits that these two identities are inextricably linked, almost synonymous. This belief suggests that one cannot be a true American without embracing, at least culturally, Christian tenets and values. A core tenet is the belief that to be a true American, one must be, at minimum, culturally Christian. This perspective often marginalizes or excludes those who do not conform to this specific cultural and religious mold. It creates an implicit hierarchy of belonging within the nation. Furthermore, Christian nationalism asserts that the state should actively privilege and enforce Christian values and symbols. This goes beyond protecting religious freedom for all. It advocates for a government that explicitly favors and promotes a particular interpretation of Christianity in public life and policy. The critiques of Christian nationalism often highlight what is termed its dark side, revealing its potential for negative societal impacts. These criticisms are rooted in concerns about exclusion, democratic principles, religious integrity, and the potential for extremism. One significant critique centers on the exclusion and othering of minorities. When national identity is fused with a specific religious identity, non-Christians are often seen as outsiders or even threats to the nation's true character. This can lead to systemic marginalization and discrimination. This exclusionary mindset frequently leads to historical revisionism. It tends to ignore or downplay the diverse contributions of non-Christian groups to American history and culture. Such narratives often present a sanitized, monolithic view of the past, erasing inconvenient truths. Christian nationalism also exhibits anti-democratic and authoritarian tendencies. It often expresses skepticism of pluralism, which is the principle of equal rights and respect for diverse faiths and worldviews. This skepticism can undermine the very foundations of a multi-religious democracy. Adherents may show a preference for strongman leaders who promise to protect the nation from perceived internal and external threats. These leaders are often seen as divinely appointed to restore the nation's Christian heritage. This preference can lead to a willingness to overlook or even endorse actions that bend or break democratic norms. Such leaders are often perceived as having a mandate to safeguard the nation's Christian identity, potentially at the expense of democratic processes. This can manifest as a disregard for checks and balances or the rights of minority groups. The focus shifts from democratic representation to the imposition of a specific moral order. Another profound critique is the corruption of religious faith itself. Christian nationalism can lead to a form of national idolatry, where political goals and national identity supersede core theological teachings. The nation becomes an object of worship, blurring the lines between patriotism and piety. This phenomenon is often described as the cross wrapped in the flag mentality. It symbolizes the intertwining of religious symbols with nationalistic fervor, sometimes to the point where one becomes indistinguishable from the other. The flag can become as sacred as the cross. Christian nationalism can also lead to selective morality. It may focus intensely on certain social issues, while ignoring or downplaying other ethical concerns central to Christian teachings, such as poverty, social justice, or peacemaking. This selective application of morality serves political agendas. Ultimately, this ideology transforms faith into a tribal identity marker within a broader culture war. Christianity becomes less about universal spiritual truths and more about belonging to a specific political and cultural faction. This can alienate those who hold different political views, but share the same faith. In its most extreme forms, Christian nationalism can provide justification for violence and extremism. When political opponents are framed as enemies of God's plan for the nation, the moral barriers against aggression can erode. This rhetoric can incite individuals to take drastic actions. This framing can lead to the dehumanization of those who disagree, making it easier to justify harm against them. The belief in a divine mandate can override ethical considerations and legal boundaries. History offers many tragic examples of such religiously motivated violence. The events of January 6, 2021 at the U.S. Capitol are frequently cited as a stark and recent example of Christian nationalist influence. The imagery and rhetoric displayed during this event provided a vivid illustration of its presence. Christian nationalist symbols and rhetoric were prominently displayed among the protesters. Banners proclaiming "Jesus saves" alongside American flags, prayers invoking divine intervention for political outcomes, and declarations of America as a Christian nation were all evident. This event brought the concept into sharp public focus. The fusion of religious fervor with political grievance was undeniable. Participants often expressed a belief that they were acting on God's behalf to save the nation. This demonstrated the real-world implications of Christian nationalist ideology. In summary, Christian nationalism argues for a profound and often exclusive fusion of Christian and American identity. It posits that the nation's true character is inherently Christian, and that its governance should reflect this. This ideology extends beyond personal faith or patriotism. The dark side of Christian nationalism stems directly from its inherently exclusive nature. By defining national identity through a specific religious lens, it inevitably marginalizes and others non-adherents. This creates divisions within society and undermines the principle of equal citizenship. This ideology can significantly undermine democratic pluralism, which is the bedrock of diverse societies. It struggles with the idea that multiple faiths and worldviews can coexist and contribute equally to the national fabric. Instead, it often seeks to impose a singular vision. Furthermore, Christian nationalism distorts Christian theology for political ends. It weaponizes faith, transforming spiritual principles into tools for political power and cultural dominance. This can lead to a loss of the faith's universal message and ethical core. By elevating national identity to a sacred status, it provides fertile ground for authoritarianism. Leaders who promise to restore a perceived Christian order can gain undue influence, potentially eroding democratic institutions. The pursuit of a Christian nation can justify undemocratic means. In its most extreme manifestations, this ideology can even provide a dangerous justification for violence. When political struggles are framed as cosmic battles between good and evil, the path to extremism becomes tragically clear. This is a profound concern for social stability. Ultimately, the ongoing debate surrounding Christian nationalism centers on fundamental questions about the soul of the nation and the very nature of Christian faith within it. It challenges us to consider what it means to be a diverse democracy and how religious belief should interact with political power.